All right, this is the Integrated Rehab and Performance Podcast, and today I'm talking with PGA professional Daniel Booker here at Franklin, and he's got some exciting stuff happening down there in
Mhm.
Franklin. Exciting for him, but also just exciting for Nashville golf in general. So, Daniel, could you tell us a little bit more about that? But first, tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got here, and
Mhm.
what your background is in golf, just in general.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I'm very excited to do this, and just got to take it down from when I started playing as a young golfer all the way to,
Yeah,
to now. Just real quick snapshot. Grew up in West Tennessee, played through the junior ranks there with through the Tennessee Golf Foundation's junior tour, AJGAs, all that, and eventually found my way to Belmont University. Played collegiate golf there, all conference honors and whatnot, and I was fortunate enough after I graduated, they brought me back on to be the assistant golf coach with them, and coached with them for about four or 5 years. I was also paired with an assistant golf professional role with the Tennessee Golf Foundation there at Golf House, and which morphed into more of a teaching professional, and was able to develop a good lesson book through that and coaching throughout the Franklin community. And I was there with the foundation for about 6 years, and then as of just a couple short weeks ago, I left them and now created my own Franklin Golf Lab facility here in the heart of Franklin. And so, yeah, that's a 10-second snapshot of the last
yeah.
really 20 years of my journey in the game, and all the way from being a junior to collegiate level to now golf professional and now entrepreneur and create my own for the coaching facility. So um, it's been a wild ride already, and I'm really looking forward to see what the future holds, especially with the Franklin Golf Lab. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so introducing Franklin Golf Lab. From what I've seen online and following you on Instagram, it looks like it's going to be
Hmm.
pretty comprehensive, extensive.
Hmm.
It's a nice looking space you got there, and I'm very excited to see what it finishes up as.
Hmm.
But tell us a little bit more about that process and kind of what inspired you to create a space like that. What
Hmm.
specifically about um, from what you've seen are you building into this practice of yours?
Hmm. Well, my passion is helping golfers get better, right? Regardless of skill level, whether you're 18 handicap or 20 or high school or want to play college golf or collegiate golfers or professional golfers, whoever you are. The vision behind this is to give that golfer a place where the vibe, the facility is geared around making you better, and that's what I wanted to create. The vision behind it for the Franklin Middle Tennessee community, and it is an indoor spot, so it will be 24/7, rain, snow, or shine. It doesn't matter. There's a spot to get better, and in Tennessee, we get great weather. Spring and fall is great, but the summers are hot and the winters get cold. So I see this as a really good facility that whatever the case is, weather or timing or whatnot, this you got a spot to get better in the game, and wanting to incorporate kind of my passion and expertise with coaching and teaching with the membership style that we're going to offer too. So. If you're a member of the facility, that comes baked in with golf lessons, and that's that performance lab that we're geared to being. And I do think there's several different facilities throughout the Middle Tennessee area in an indoor setting, and kind of the niche we're going for again is a performance center, just a spot to get better, and kind of full compass that. Whether we partner with different people throughout the community, like yourself, that can offer the fitness and mobility, all that. I just see three big buckets. You got the fitness, you got the golf, and you got the mentality, and that those conversations are going to be had throughout the Franklin Golf Lab, whether that's with myself or we partner with local businesses and professionals to encompass that. So yeah, that's kind of the thoughts and the vision and the niche that we're geared to, and kind of what I want to give the Franklin community specifically.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Mhm.
There's definitely some spots where there's emphasis on social with some golf. There's some
Mhm.
spots where it's more fun with some golf, and then I kind of like where you're heading, which is you can have all these things, but performance, right? Getting
Mhm.
better at golf is essentially the root
Exactly.
of it. Uh, what
Mhm.
um, what sort of how many bays will you have there? What kind of tech do you have?
Yeah, we'll have five total bays. Four of them be what we call commercial use, where if you're a member, you can utilize any of those four bays, just book them. The fifth one would be a private, enclosed off, walled off teaching bay. Four commercial bays would be TrackMan IO simulators. We also have a commercial putting green. Commercial meaning anybody can, a community putting green that will be utilizing the PuttView putting system. So I don't know if you're familiar with
Uh-huh.
PuttView, but it's really cool. It's like the TrackMan for putting. It shows
Interesting.
the breaks, outlines it. It also has some data on how much force you put in the golf ball on the roll and
Wow.
stuff like that. So it's pretty intuitive, pretty cool.
Okay.
And then also in the teaching lab, we have swing catalyst dual force plates. So just
Okay.
basically sensors built into the ground, which shows us the force outputs. You know, the buzzword is ground force reaction in the golf community right now, generate power and speed. So, and then we'll also have 360 degree cameras and probably more technology being added to that teaching lab. We're already got some plans for upgrades after the new year or whatnot. But kind of the way I view it is technology is great. I love data feedback. I think there's golf is still an art, so we use that technology to help you with your feels. Depending upon the player, some players are more feel based, some players are more data driven, and we'll just find that. And with an indoor setting, that technology can lead us there. And how much we use it is really up to the player. Some players more analytical; they want to see the numbers, and players like myself, if I was to see you for a golf lesson, I want you to understand those numbers, but just tell me what to do. I don't want to get
Sure.
too far in that as in like for my own style of learning. But yeah, I think there's plenty of plenty of stuff in there to get better, and like I said, we're already thinking ahead for some cool upgrades too. So,
Yeah,
but
very
yeah.
nice. That well, let's dive into that a little bit more. What
Mhm,
how would you describe your coaching philosophy? Maybe a little bit of
mhm,
what you've already mentioned, where it's a blend between feel, outcome,
mhm.
but also a little bit of data, right? Being able to merge those two
Yeah.
things. But in general, how would you describe going about seeing a new student? What is it like for you?
Mhm,
What's that process like? And what are
mhm.
the principles that you kind of follow?
I think the philosophy is tailored to each and every student, right? I mean, everybody learns differently. Everybody wants to be coached in their own style, which way they learn better. And I think it's my job as a golf coach or instructor is to learn how you learn, and then let's coach and teach on that. And so, like, say, if you're a field-based player, you don't want to see the 2 degrees off that your external rotation might be. You just might want to be told just turn, whatever that case is. And there's a million different opinions on where the specific positions of the golf swing should be. My goal is to understand it at the most complicated level, but then be able to communicate it in a very simple and efficient manner, and communicate to the style that you best learn by. So, and then where that takes us to the mechanics of the golf swing, we'll see. Again, some people just like for me to put a alignment stick and say, "Hey, don't hit it," and get them swing more inside, and
Yep.
others want to see that 3 degree change in the swing direction or club path on the TrackMan. I think both of them are great. It's just I need to tailor the way I communicate and talk to you based around that. Because again, I go back to myself. If I'm seeing you for anything, I just tell me what to do. I trust you and your expertise, and let's go. Versus some people want to know the why, and
Exactly. Yep.
I want to take ownership is to understand that why and the how to the deepest level, and then depending upon how deep we go with that is kind of up to you. So
Yeah.
that's my viewpoint on teaching and coaching.
Smart. I run into a similar issue where I like to give all the details,
Mm,
but you have to know when to pull back.
mm,
I had a patient say to me yesterday. Um, I asked him, "Does that kind of make sense to you?" He said, "Well, most of it's going in and out the other ear, but I think I understand. I trust that we're that what you said is what we're doing." And
mm,
like, yeah, we'll break it down one session at a time. We'll kind of you'll hear it enough times that it'll start really making sense to you.
mm,
Um, but yeah, it's a good give and take where you have all the details. Some people need to understand even at the level of the cell, what's happening, the changes we're trying to make in
mm,
terms of the rehab process and the force development process. And then others are just, yeah, where am I at? Where do I need to be? Okay, perfect. You know,
mm,
so being able to blend that really important, especially with something as
mm,
technical as golf swing.
mm.
What have you seen over the years that has kind of gotten you to that point in your philosophy? How would you say you've kind of adapted or grown over your coaching teaching career
Mm,
that you might have started a little bit differently compared to where you are now and what you're doing now?
mm. It's a good question. I was fortunate enough, like I said, I spent the last 6 years with the Tennessee Golf Foundation,
Mm,
and my mentor, my own coach, and we talk golf every single day. Scott Flynn, who's the director of golf there at Golf House, VP of operations through the Tennessee Golf Foundation, and head coach at Belmont University. I've spent the last decade with him, and if there's anything that's been done in golf, he's done it. He's seen the best players. He's worked with them. He's built golf courses. I mean, he's just a wealth of knowledge, and being learning from him has really made a huge stamp on my own philosophy and my career. And I can't give enough credit to Scott Flynn there. And all that goes to say is he got me started correctly. I think as I look back, is anything that would be, I don't know how much I would change. I mean, there's different, obviously, things I've tweaked and different understandings and how I communicate and structure lessons. And, this philosophy, my philosophy of tailoring to the student is kind of what he coached me through. Is like, that, when you talk golf swing with stack and tilt and different like actual things to do, it might work for one person and it might not for the other. That's where you got to tailor it. And that's the best thing he taught me. So he can step back, take this overall view approach, and then tailor it to that in particular student. Now, the what I call the X's and O's of the mechanics of the golf swing. Obviously, I've been doing this for a few to many years now. It's my understanding of it has gotten better, so my communication style has gotten more efficient and clear. I think early on, looking back, things that changed. To your point, maybe overly communicated.
Yeah.
Prove how smart I am or whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? And when people see you, they found you somehow. They came to see you because you already got a sense of authority with them, so they came to you for that clear cut communication. And I think almost less is more, especially in a complicated um, sport like golf. So, good question though. Things I change. I just think I wouldn't necessarily change much of anything. I think I've just as you get more experience with anything, you get better at it. And
Exactly.
thankfully, I had some great mentors and coaches early on who, just like when you want to learn the golf swing, what do you need to tell them? Get the foundation, the fundamentals set early, and then you can build on that. And as it pertains to my coaching and teaching career, I was very grateful. I had a great mentor and coach that really got me rooted good early, and now I'm able to build upon that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
In the same kind of idea, you've grown in your coaching and your teaching.
Mhm.
Um, what have you seen from the golfers that are coming to see you? From when you started to now, do you kind of see the same thing walking in with new students? Is it the same stuff that we've always talked about, where the first thing you're doing is trying to fix like a big slice,
Mhm.
or have people come in with different things? Have you noticed any sort of change over the years?
I think the game of golf is consistent with that slice, man. I think
Yeah.
the majority of golfers slice it, and I think there's a lot of anatomical and functional reasons as to why that is.
Yeah.
But I think the game is morphing to more of a distance game. So I would say that's the newest thing on the horizon is how to create speed, how to hit it further. And then the number one thing I get on the lesson tee is it's kind of an inside joke in the golf instructor community too. It's like a player comes up, say, "I want to be consistent. I want to be more consistent." I'm like, all right, well, you're already consistently slicing it, so we got the consistency part down, but
Sure. Yeah.
let's be consistently better. And then it's just. I think the way I structure lessons is communicate. What's the ball doing? Why is the ball doing that? And then what do we need to do to change that? If you don't understand the why the ball's doing it, then you're not going to be able to make effective change. Why are you slicing it? Well, face is open to the path, and that path is likely swinging over the top. If you don't understand that, it's going to be very hard for you to fix it. And just because if you don't understand the why, when you go practice on your own outside of lesson or coaching session, you might just go right back to what you were doing, right? And especially in a game like golf, it's not a one shot fix. You know this. It's going to take hundreds of thousands of reps to really start routing your path back to more neutral and
Mm.
learning to rotate the face over so you don't slice it. So, um, but yeah, I think people like to hit it right or left if you're a lefty, and I think consistency is the number one objective that people come up to the lesson tee with. So I want to be more consistent. And then, but yeah, in the last few years, distance is definitely power, distance, and then can lead us into the questions: how do you develop distance without injury, right?
Mm.
I had a friend of mine who's a strength coach. He tested me. Basically, I'm a butcher what we found out, but let's make some numbers up. He said I could generate 300 some odd pounds of force, but my body could only withstand 280 pounds of it. So he said, if you
Interesting.
continue to do this long enough, you're going to get hurt. And so longevity, how do we get the elder gentleman who's at a desk hunched able to get that pressure off his lower back? Is it that's where I think a collaboration between somebody like me and somebody like you, that you can give him corrective exercises to fix his
Hmm.
posture, bring him back, and then I can help build a swing around that so he can play injury free. And whether he slices it or not, that guy wants to play injury free. And
Yeah.
we can aim left and hit it back in the fairway, but and straighten that out. But if he's doing that with pain, that's not going to be fun. And now we've lost a golfer. So
That's right.
I think power and longevity are kind of the two things that I'm seeing on the forefront in today's world. And the newest cutting edge technology we're going to see come out is grip pressure. They're coming out with
Mm.
sensors in the grip. And I saw a video the other day that, there's always a devil's advocate in golf instruction, but it was basically saying, there's all this talk about shallow in a golf club. Well, this video was saying, well, elite players actually start to steepen the golf club according to their torques and pressure on the shaft and the grip, which is interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think as we get more data and information on grip pressure, that may either validate what we know, or it might shift our whole narrative about what we thought we knew. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the latest cutting edge information that we see.
Yeah, and we'll need people like you to help interpret that data
Hmm.
and tell us what it means. And then yeah, my role, my job is trying to give you people and students that can move into the positions that you want them to get into.
Hmm.
So you can work through positions, and and you had mentioned an anatomical or like a functional or physical problem
Hmm.
that kind of influences a slice, and trying to address those things to
Hmm.
give them the best opportunity or chance to avoid injury, work through any injury that's there and rehab it, and then for golf performance there to make sure that they have
Hmm.
the physical anatomical capacity to not get into these poor positions that produce that.
Hmm.
What comes to mind when you think about that anatomical or physical stuff that is directly related to the slice, like you'd mentioned?
I think a lot of times, again, we're sitting like I'm sitting in this chair. Of majority of our time spent flexion of the hips and rounded back, whatnot, which then influences limited hip turn and mobility. And when those hips get limited and you don't really get as deep into the backswing as you really need to, then that upper body will start taking over. And when these shoulders go first, the club dumps over the top, and some of that's motor pattern, and again goes back to why you're slicing it, and that club's getting over the top. But then what's causing that? You just is it the understanding of you just don't know the lower body's supposed to start before the upper body, which helps you get into the common phrase of that slide, or are you physically limited? Can you not turn? And if I ask you to turn, is there pain? Well, if there's pain, you're certainly not going to turn. So I can't build a golf swing
That's
around
right.
that. I'm going to build a golf swing around another portion. Or can we get you some corrective exercises, get you some more mobility, um, so you play more flexible, less pain, etc. So it all ties hand in hand, and I think that's why relationships and collaborations with like us is so key, if to really maximizing a golfer's potential. And we're not saying, in my mind, I'm not saying maximizing elite players. This might even be more important for the higher handicappers who are a little bit maybe less mobile or whatnot, because I think we're just in the business of working with elite players is fun, but we're in the business of just giving golfers the ability to play the best that they can, and play injury free and pain free. So,
That's right.
and then that's where you got them. They're going to keep playing, and it's more enjoyable. And when it's more enjoyable and less painful, I always say golf is fun, but good golf is even more fun. So then we could turn that more into the performance base. So start lowering the handicap,
That's right.
and when you're more mobile and flexible, it's easier to make a better golf swing, and then it's more fun for everybody.
That's right. Yeah, that golf can be the catalyst for a lot of people. To people invest a lot into golf
Hmm.
clubs, lessons, courses,
Hmm.
memberships, um, but sometimes they neglect the body, right? The physical, and they
Hmm.
have issues and problems and injuries and pain, and they know they have mobility restrictions, and it takes not being able to get in this one position in the golf swing for a couple years for them to finally say, maybe I should invest in my body as well and take care of some of these things, which is it's practical for everything well beyond golf. Just
Hmm.
being able to move well into your later years, right? Your health span
Mhm.
versus your lifespan, not just living longer, but being able to do the things that you like without pain and major discomfort for longer. And
Mhm.
so, if golf can be the catalyst to get you or some people to address these things, then that's great. That's why we love golf. It's another reason why I
Mhm.
love golf. And then, yeah, and then we get to specialize and work into, hey, making this golf thing a whole lot more fun when you can perform better.
Mhm.
So yeah, big fan of that. And that's kind of what I need to. I need to play a little bit better.
Mhm.
But something similar. We talked about the general population when it comes to your more elite, your higher level golfers. What are you
Mhm.
seeing in those guys? Maybe it's a completely mixed bag with the better golfers. They all have these little individual things, but have you found any sort of consistency at a higher level? Very low handicap, maybe plus handicap guys. That
Mhm.
what are they working on? What are you working on with them?
Well, I think when you get to a certain point, you got to be able to hit the shots that you need to. So when we get with the better players, they know how to hit the golf shots, right? So I think there's two categories to be successful in this game, and one of them we've already mentioned, but this one I'm about to say is even more important. It's the mental side of it. Once you got your skill level up to a certain point, and then it just goes upstairs. Because I mean, the mental is so important in the golf game, and self talk, self belief, how you react to poor shots. Not getting too high, not getting too low. I mean, that's the difference maker when you're working with more of elite level golf and high level golf is whoever's the best 6 inches between the two ears, right? It's gonna be better, and that. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about, it, I think it's three main buckets. So, mentality number one, training your mental course. I think course management fits into that category too. Picking the right shots at the right time, not making emotional decisions, having your processes and routines. And then the second thing is how you practice. And this is something I learned. And when I was a range rat when I was a junior golfer, I thought the more time I spent practicing, the better I'd be. And then as I got later into my college, junior, senior year of college, I was still practicing hard. I was just practicing more efficiently. And now I'm more on the professional side, professional career side of it. So I don't practice near as much as I used to, but I practice way more efficiently because right now I just don't have as much time as I did back then, right? But I do think I get more out of an hour practice session now than I would get out of 6 hours when I was a junior golfer, and that's something I didn't understand. I thought, what's work hard mean? Work hard is
Right.
put time in. But in a game like golf, you can work hard on the wrong things for a long time and get worse. So
Yeah.
I think how a player practices with intentionality, and then as we mentioned, I think if you're going to be successful, this is just where the game's headed. You got to hit it far. You can play good golf. You can compete at a high level and not hitting it far. I'm not saying you can't. There's always an exception. There's still some guys on the PGA Tour that don't hit it very far and have success, but we're talking about winning. If winning elite level events, it's a lot easier to win if you're hitting the pitching wedge as opposed to a 7 iron going into the green. So
Yeah.
I think that's where the game has morphed over the last 10, 15, 20 years into an athletic sport. So it goes back to what we were saying is developing speed, getting stronger, getting faster, and then being able to maintain that speed injury free. And that's where time in the gym, corrective exercises, and I think golf practice is now morphing into those three buckets: fitness, skill based practice with the golf swing, and then mental practice. Are your three big buckets. I think if you're going to play elite level golf, you should structure your practice time with those three buckets. So if you got 3 hours, you might even be best to spend an hour on each instead of just
Yeah.
3 hours, working on just golf. But again, that kind of what I want to get is to, okay, I said when your skill gets to a certain point, where at what point does maybe mentality take over? Or do you need to really start training more distance?
Right.
I think everybody has their opinions on what handicap you should be when that takes over. I think there's a way to quantitatively define that, and that's what I'm thinking through and working on.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
really, whatever handicap mentality matters, though, when you really want to boil it
That's right.
down. But
Yeah.
yeah, so those are my big buckets when it comes to elite level golf.
Smart. I like it. What does the Franklin Golf Lab? What are you going to do to address that mentality part of the game? How do you work on mental game? There is it just different scenarios on the sim that you can put them in and ask them to make a choice and see how they do that. What does that look like?
Yeah, TrackMan itself has a phenomenal strokes gained program within it. So That's really good at teaching and coaching through on-course decisions, aiming at the middle of the green, picking smart targets,
That's
etc.
great.
And I think it goes, that's more the course management side. I think the conversation stems on teaching players mental processes and routines, visualization. So I've had several lessons. When I worked for the Tennessee Golf Foundation, we had some indoor sims that would utilize in the winter, and I would turn it all off and just make players hit into a blank screen and learn to visualize the shot you're trying to hit. And even so, I think a great exercise is turn the screen off, visualize a shot, hit it,
Yeah.
let the player give me that feedback. Hey, did that feel like the draw? How much of a draw? 10 yards? How far did you hit it? 130? Then I'll turn the screen on and see how close they were with those feels and that
Wow.
visualization. And
That's awesome.
so I think that's a very good way. And I think it goes back to the intentionality of practice. Anybody can beat balls, right? It's, are you going through your full tournament routine in the lesson, in your practice session? Because if you're just gonna take 2 seconds to slap at it in a tournament, I mean, if you're gonna take 2 seconds to slap at it in practice, well, and then you take 45 seconds to go through your full routine in a tournament, well, that's the practice isn't going to correlate. So you got to practice like you play, right? So that's a lot of the conversations that I have, and a lot of the conversation I have with my good players as well is we're just talking through their round. Hey, I think it's that coaching relationship. When you got a coach you trust, you can be open, you can have those conversations, and just let them know, hey, on hole 6, you were too fed up with you 3 putt on a hole 4, and you're still thinking about it. How can we get you over that hump to where you just let it go and let the past be in the past and play in the now, and giving these players strategic processes on how to manage their game when they play. And I have a book written on applicable mental processes routines. I haven't put out yet, but that's kind of what I want to incorporate in
Yeah.
Franklin Golf Lab. And really, what I'm excited about is to develop more or less a curriculum. Okay, if you want to get better at your mental game, here's a 6-step series or whatever that will be tied to this book that I have. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, you got the encore stuff with TrackMan, and then it's really the coaching relationships and conversations that stem with the processes and routines.
Very cool. When is that book set to release? Do you know? Is there a timeline on that?
I'm thinking winter. There's a lot on the plate going on right now with the
Sure.
creation of this
Yeah.
thing. So I gave it out to my players. I've been working closely with 20 or some odd players over the course of the last year. That's kind of been what I call DBJ Golf's core group. Giving out to them has some good positive feedback. So I plan on making it more public this fall/winter time. So
Cool.
have to stay tuned with that. But I'm more
Yeah.
than happy to get that in your hands ASAP too.
That'd be
So,
great. Yeah.
but yeah, it's just a resource. I think when it comes to mental, you got all the cliche things. Stay in the moment. Uh, don't get mad, right? Let it go. How do you do that? I've heard stay in the moment since I was an 8-year-old playing golf. I was like, well, I'm trying to stay in the moment, but I really can't think about 3 putting from 3 feet back there, whatever. This is irking me.
Right.
But what are some practical, applicable steps to do that? And um, I think that's what's gonna that can change more golf games than
Yeah.
trying to get it more parallel at the top.
Yep. Yep. No doubt. Well said. When it comes to, we talked about mental a little bit. We talked about the outcome of what you're working on. We had some
Mhm.
slicers for the higher handicaps, and then all sorts of things for the lower guys, more of a mentality focus. What are you seeing physically with your golfers over the last few years when it comes
Mhm.
to things that you've had to work around, either due to mobility restrictions or to pain? What is a big spot, big injury spots or pain spots that you've noticed from golfers coming in to work with you?
Mhm. Well, I think the most common is lower back with all golfers, right?
That's right.
Golfers got tight, well, just people in general got tight hamstrings, which then puts pressures on the back itself, and then not to mention when you start getting in the rotational capacities of the golf swing, and especially if you're doing it incorrectly, then all of a sudden you got lower back pain. You put too much torque and pressure there, then all of a sudden if you're a in shape 18-year-old golfer that's not quite swinging efficiently, they're getting away with it, but eventually it's going to catch up to them. So that's where longevity sets in, and then all of a sudden you get the older gentleman or woman that's that's already got pre-existing issues, and then all of a sudden they're restricting their turns and puts pressure on the lower back. And in the power and speed conversation, I have seen some hip issues. So maybe lack of hip strength,
Hmm.
whether that's internally or externally rotations or the flexion or extension of the hips or whatever that looks like. I think you got to get a strong base and um, strong hips, strong core, just to be able to handle the capacity. Because I do have some players that can swing fast. Let's give the example I gave you earlier. I can swing fast right now, but can my body handle that? I can do it,
Sure.
but is my body going to be able to handle that? And then,
Right.
if the answer is no, it's just only a matter of time. I'm still young and like I say, physically fit. I might have another 10 years before I really have to um, face those actual injuries. I'd rather not at all. So let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and get a functional, strong body. Couple that with good motor patterns in the golf swing. Now I'm swinging powerful, and not going to develop an injury on that. So, but yeah, it's coming back. Distance, people gonna trying to hit it further, swing faster, and I see that's putting a lot of torques and injuries on the lower back, the hips, and even some shoulders. I've
Yep.
seen some shoulders where golfers aren't quite turning, then they're overcompensating with the shoulder lift, and all of a sudden their socket
Hmm.
can't turn like that, and they're using those big muscles to engage, and all of a sudden they wake up the next morning with sore shoulders. So
That's right.
shoulders, hips, and back are the big three, and I think that taking a corrective approach with that as well with getting them stronger would be huge with um, preventing those injuries.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree. Low back, definitely what we're getting in the clinic mostly. Low back.
Hmm.
Um, and then shoulder would be probably number two. And then you get a nice mixture of knee, hip, and even this mid back pain and some neck stuff as well. We know how important being able to turn the head and neck is in the golf swing. Many
Hmm.
people don't realize it. The trunk turns underneath the head is rotating. Essentially, the joints don't know the
Hmm.
difference. But yeah, the low back and shoulder are definitely top two. Um,
Hmm.
have you had to deal with anything personally in terms of injuries? We know that you're kind of on the watch. You're working on some things to prevent future injuries
Hmm.
that you've got some good data on. But have you had to deal with anything in your career, your young career, and anything recently?
Yeah, man. I think in college I always dealt with low back myself.
Low back.
I had to get some therapy on it and get locked up. And I do think it's just the fact of the matter that my body can generate a lot of speed, but can it handle that speed? And
Yeah.
when I was playing college golf at Belmont, we practiced 4 to 6 hours every day, playing 18 holes 3 or 4 times a week, and then the practices are 3 to 4 hours long. And um, we were working out. I was taking corrective measures, but it's a lot of swings. It's a lot of
Yeah, it
golf,
is.
and so I dealt with some low back issues. Thankfully, none didn't really get me sidelined, just because I was an exercise science major, so I was learning, dealing with it, but was still taking some proactive measures early. And I was thankful I didn't have um, um, any major sidelines for that, but definitely I've always had some lower back
Yeah.
issues and more in the near past. It's where I'm at now is pretty much the same thing. I just need to get my body stronger, man. That's all it
Yeah.
is. I've been swinging golf clubs since I was 8, and I played baseball. I can swing fast. I just need my body to be able to to be able to handle that, because I'm starting to, I might have a little bit of a baby face here, but I'm starting to age a little bit. I'm starting to
Sure.
feel it. So
Yeah.
I'm worried my body can only handle so much until I actually get a real injury taking place. And um, shoot, I'm embarrassed. I played 18 holes the other day, and I woke up the next morning sore. I was like, man, we got to get this
Yeah.
figured
There we
out.
go. Yep. And on top of it, take a look at the joints around it. What's not moving as well, and then how can we build strength on that mobility as well?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
what where were you playing after you felt discomfort? Where do you like to play around here?
Where?
Yeah,
Man, I used to, over the years, I spent most of my time at the Vanderbilt Legends Club.
checks out.
I really like that golf course. Sure, there's so many good golf courses around. In my Belmont days, I loved Old Hickory.
Mm,
I love Old Hickory Golf Club. Favorite course in the area is the Golf Club of Tennessee. That place is
yeah,
special. You can't beat that place. And Actually, I played this past week. Went back up, see a good friend of mine at the Grasslands up there in
Okay.
Gallatin. So, it's in phenomenal shape, and that's why I
Good.
played this last week. And but yeah, man, lots of good golf courses around, and
Yeah.
that's where I think the golf industry is. It's kind of common. Golf pros don't play a lot of golf, but that is changing. And there's the Tennessee Section PGA is doing a phenomenal job with
Yep.
getting golf pros back into the game, giving them opportunities to play, and they host a variety of tournaments themselves. So
Yeah. You were playing
definitely
at
the
was it West Haven recently? Is
yeah,
that what that was?
yeah,
Yeah.
West
Cool.
Haven, yeah.
Cool.
hmm
And
But yeah.
what have you? Is there any holes you've identified? I'd like to ask in the Nashville area as what you found to be like most difficult holes for you, for either
Uh,
your swing, shot, shape, whatever it might be. Is there a hole or two that really that gets you?
Nashville Golf and Athletic Club, number one out the gate.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's
probably
a
the most
tough
common
golf
answer.
hole.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is, man. It's just a um I don't think it's not an unfair golf hole either. You just gotta hit two great shots. And
yeah,
that's your first two shots of the day. So
that's right.
that's one of the toughest holes out there. And then the Grove has a couple good par threes. It's either number three or number four. So one of their par threes out at the Grove. That's a good golf hole. It's
Okay.
tough, and their greens are always slick too. So, but yeah, man, it's number one at NGAC is undefeated.
Yeah,
Give
for
me a
sure.
five
Absolutely.
there and let me go to number two.
Sure. Yeah, get away with a five, and you're pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read you. Uh, well, perfect. So I appreciate you coming on. We got some good details on the Franklin Golf Lab there. When can we
Mhm.
expect that you'll be ready, open to take some Nashville golfers and start improving their game?
Yeah, we're looking at grand opening mid to late October.
Cool.
So stay tuned. Follow our Instagram at Franklin Golf Lab, and as well as myself at the DBJ Golf. And I'm posting updates, and kind of what's going to be cool is I'm posting from the ground up. So as
Okay.
you've seen, where we've been posting about the demo, the construction starting now, and um, again, this is a community project, so I want to take the community along on the ride with me, and I'm going to share the what's great about it and been my learning curves over this next month, and more of the vision behind it is the local hub to get better in all facets. Fitness, rehab, mental, golf training, speed, etc. And whether that's with myself but definitely we're going to be bringing in community experts as well. And
Perfect.
like I said, granted we hit the timelines, we're looking at a mid to late October grand opening. So just stay tuned to the socials there. Again, I'm taking everybody along for the ride with me. So
Perfect.
I'm excited and should be really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Be excited for that. I'll be excited to check it out when it's officially up and
Mhm.
running, and I could probably use some help. So,
Mhm.
which sounds like a good fit. Well, very good. And that was Instagram. That's best for people to follow you and keep up to date.
Yeah, Instagram's great. And that's a way to keep up with updates. And our website is live. Just franklingolflab.com. We got our countdown on there. You can sign up.
Cool.
You can go and sign up for updates on the membership. So we do plan on making our pre-sale live on October 1.
Mm,
So you go and mark that date on there and sign up for that on the website to get updates. And like I said, my socials will be very active on there too. So
beautiful.
just stay locked in. That'd be great. We appreciate the support. And like I said, it's Franklin Golf Lab is what it says. It's Franklin Spot, and it's Golf Lab's place to get better. So.
Very cool. Also, be excited to add some updates when you start posting some stuff.
Mhm.
Well, thanks again, Daniel. Appreciate you coming on the podcast. We'll keep in touch with you, and we'll do this again sometime when everything's up and running.
Yes, sir. All right. Yeah, you keep up the good work too, man. Do an awesome job and stay on it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good one.